All right. So I got two fun stories for you. Well, one you were a part of, so it's not that fun. But my 6-year-old turned 6 on Tuesday. And we're like, "Hey bud, like, do you want to go out to eat?" And he's like, "Sure. Where do you want to go?" He goes, "The Australian place."
Nice.
You know what that is here?
Outback Steakhouse, baby.
We're like, okay, he's been there one time ever. I don't even like he gets mac and cheese. I don't really know why he knows it's Australian. But he was like that. It was a cool experience. The other one was, by the way, Outback Steakhouse. How close to the Outback are we getting there?
I mean, I don't know too much. I haven't been to one. I know you like the big thing is the onion, right?
The Bloomin' Onion?
Because
Yeah, yeah.
we just love eating whole onions here in Australia.
I
That's
mean,
our thing.
hold
It's
on,
our
hold
national
on.
dish.
It's not just whole. It's fried, like deep fried. It's hum we
It sounds
Americanized
great.
that I can remember a time when I liked it. I don't know if it's getting old, but
I
I
mean,
can't deal
it's
with that.
props to them for coming up with a gimmick. It has nothing to do with Australia. I don't think onions are just not on our radar as an Australian dish. So I'm not sure where they got that one from,
Hold
but
on. What
I'm
about
all
the
for it.
what about Aussie fries?
What are Aussie fries?
French fries?
Oh,
But
there's no like.
you can't call them French fries at an Australian place. You gotta like
Okay, I thought there
Australianize
might have
them.
been like a spin on it somehow, like they dipped in Vegemite or something like that.
No, no, it's literally like ketchup with seasoning that they're probably gonna pass off as being Australian seasoning, which I don't really know what that means.
I need to go. I need to go to one next time I'm in the States. I'll definitely hit
You
up
know,
an Outback Steakhouse.
so just to like make this even worse, like the whole Americanizing Australian place. So like we had actually a fantastic experience. I was telling you later this, and how old is your kids?
I have one daughter who's 4 months old.
Okay, that's what I thought. I
Yeah,
thought it was a. So you will likely realize this, especially if you have a second. This is not like trying to like be dad tips. It's just a well-known fact. When you
please.
go out with the kids, it's just like you're just praying and hoping to survive. It's just a survival mechanism. You have no expectations that you or your wife or anybody that's choosing to dine with you is going to have a good time. You're just like, I apologize in advance. I have two boys too. So I'm just like,
Yeah. Okay.
they're gonna suck. I'm sorry. They're probably not gonna eat. They might throw something. They're probably gonna jump around. I don't know.
Mm.
Just prepare for anything.
Yeah.
And they were great. And the restaurant was great. It's like the manager, I don't know, they hid a stuffed koala
Nice.
on like a ceiling fan, and they're like, it was really cool. Like they came to my kid, they're like, "Hey, can you find a stuffed animal?" And then they put a call up like, and then knowing that I was gonna talk to you too, I'm like, what are we doing here? So is that how
That
you do at your restaurants? You
that
have people.
reminds me of. I remember when I was 10 years old. I remember this really clearly. My dad came to me and he goes, "It's your birthday. You get to choose which restaurant we go to." A lot of responsibility for a 10-year-old. And it was like Pizza Hut, which at the time was like the all you can eat, the
Yeah,
buffet, pretty good. Now, Pizza Hut's a classic. You can't go wrong really with the Pizza Hut buffet.
the buffet.
But
Yes,
there was a new place that had opened up called Lone Star. Now, Lone
yes.
Star was like the inverse of the Outback Steakhouse. It was the American version, and I was such a victim of like capitalism in this moment because they had a TV ad where they made the restaurant look like a saloon. And there was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
their big gimmick was that you could get this big bucket of peanuts in the shells and break and you could chuck the peanut
Throw
shells
them
on the
anywhere.
floor and it
Yep.
was just rootin' tootin', hollering good times. And I was like, I want to go to Lone Star. I've seen the ad. I'm in. So we went to Lone Star. We get there. Turns out health and safety concerns. They've binned the peanuts. No peanuts because someone must have like slipped and broken their spine on a peanut or something. No peanuts, and that really takes the vibe out of the whole
It
place
really
when there's.
does.
And I remember very clearly. I mean, this is no shot at my dad, but his meal came out and it was chicken nuggets in the shape of stars, like lone stars. And I remember he got his plate of nuggets and he goes, "Whoopie doo." He was so
So,
unimpressed. And I was like, fuck.
so here I haven't been to a Lone Star. It's funny that they're actually putting one in. I know that's like a Roadhouse. But anyhow,
Okay, yeah.
um, the last time I was there, that was like in college, so probably 10 years ago. Peanuts on the floor, man.
Damn, I missed out. Again, I got to add that to the bucket list because I was so hyped for it. And the whole time I was like, I could be knee deep in that pizza buffet right now. And instead, I'm just disappointing my whole family. Like, this.
So random fact on Pizza Hut, and everybody watching this pod now is gonna be like, "What the hell?" And you know, this is just kind of how this pod rolls.
So Rez
There's a
dying. We're zigging. We're zagging. It's a
it's
restaurant. It's a
I just
restaurant
figured that we
review.
need to like a second Sorare Andrews out there, just out there just
Absolutely.
spitting whatever. But
Yeah. What do they have a
did
monopoly on
you
nonsense?
know before like the whole thing of kale was like rebranded as super healthy, you should eat it? Do you know who the number one purchaser of kale was for like 15 years?
I mean, I feel like you're building me up to say Pizza Hut.
And for what?
Ooh. What would kale? Is it just go into like their mousse or their jelly or some crazy shit?
No, it's the greenery in between the pizzas and like the south. That's kale.
And then we started eating it as a
And
health
then
food. Yeah.
and so it was in a conference for work that I was like they were just talking like marketing and they're like, before somebody actually started to eat it, they just used it for garnish.
I
So
don't know if
good.
you did you ever watch the show Portlandia?
No, but I think I've seen snippets of it. I know I've heard it's good.
They had a great skit where Steve Buscemi was in it, and he was like, it was this world in which they had marketing teams for each of the different foods.
Okay.
And like there was, the hotshot marketing guy that had Brussels sprouts, and you know how Brussels sprouts had like a comeback a few years ago.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
And then Steve Buscemi's character had celery, and he just had nothing. Like he was like Bloody Marys, ants on a log. That's all we got. So I reckon the
Ants on the
kale
log.
guy.
Yes. I mean, I think that's the only thing you could possibly sell celery as because
So
like
every time I see a food like come back into fashion, I'm like, yep, the marketing teams just smashed it out of the park with this one.
yeah, you know, I have good memories of ants on a log, and I think I tried it again as a teenager. I'm like, what the hell is this? I can't eat this.
Yeah, when you're a kid, it's all about just novelty. It's about how can we make this into some kind of, transport related metaphor. So you'll eat it. Choo
Yeah.
choo train, aeroplane, ants on a log. You got to make it fun, otherwise,
Bloomin'
no one's eating it.
onion, Aussie fries. I mean, you just get. I can't get over the star-shaped chicken nuggets. Like they didn't even pretend to like say like, "Hey, we fresh chicken that we hand breaded." They're like, "No, no, that was frozen.
No.
That
And
probably came from America. Sat on a boat for how many days?"
yeah, and I mean, you sounded like they really gave you the experience there. That like, I remember, it's so clear in my mind. Like, just the staff were not participating. There was no rootin' tootin'. It was just like some stoned 16-year-old who was just counting down the hours till his shift was over.
That probably is pretty American. That's probably like fairly
Yeah, bang
good
on.
American. I still remember, God, we went to Paris. And I'm gonna piss off French people, but here we go. We went to Paris. We were poor as hell. Like we saved like 3 years to get to this trip, and I remember it was like the first restaurant we went to, and we like could not get a waiter or waitress to come to our table. They're just like they're young, they're poor. They ordered a pizza. It was probably a nice place. What the hell? And like we're like, do I, do you want my money? Do I have to pay? Like, do I grab you? But like literally, like the lady took our order, like come back by our table. I'm like, no. And I remember us just sitting there for like an hour and a half. I'm like, I think they want us to drink. We should probably get a drink. And then my wife's like, we can't order. How do we order it? She won't stop.
Sounds like you got the real French experience
It
from what I've
was.
heard.
It
Yeah,
was, but still remember it. But
yeah.
funny enough, there's no like chain French restaurants here.
You don't have Pret a Manger?
I have no idea what that is. I know.
I think
Do
it's
you
like
guys have
a
any more of like our chains than yours other than Pizza Hut?
I think we got most of them. We don't
Yeah.
have. We've got the big ones: McDonald's, Taco
Yeah.
Bell, KFC.
You got
I'm
our
trying to think.
best there. That's the best we can give you.
Yeah, but I've recently started seeing some Carl's Jr. pop up around the
Okay.
place. Um, mm,
We're now starting to give you we're deep rooting you if we're giving you Hardee's and
yeah,
We're seeing how much grease you can take.
yeah. Everyone, just Americanizing the globe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chain by chain.
So the other fun story that we should share is it's Thursday for me, now that I've learned Friday for you. But we
Hmm.
were gonna do this Tuesday when I went to the Australian place. Or I thought it was Wednesday.
Yeah.
And
I
you
mean, it's. I don't think I've done a podcast yet with an international person that that has
they
gone to
got it
plan.
right.
It's
And
tough. It's a tough time zone.
it's a tough one because you like message me and go, so in like 4 or 5 hours, I'm like, I got it tomorrow. You're like, dude, it's tomorrow already here.
You could have totally just live streamed from the Outback Steakhouse. It would have been amazing.
Dude, that would have actually been really good. But the kids were actually good. Like that would have ruined it. That could have
That's
ruined
good.
it. We survived. And now
Were
we're
the
like, we just
waiters
go to the Australian place.
were the waiters Australian? Like, or did they put on an
No.
Australian accent? No.
And then, I mean, Happy Birthday was sung in the most American fashion possible.
Perfect.
We used to it used to be when you would like call up though, they would do good day, mateys.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. I mean, Americans love a good g'day mate. G'day mate. I love it. Every
and then
time
and
I've
then and then straight though to English accent. Would
yeah,
you
yeah.
like to order out? Would you like to call ahead?
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Every time I meet an American, they hit me with their best g'day mate, and then they've got this like look on their face like, did I
Did
do
I
it
hit
right?
it?
Yeah. G'day mate. That's what, yeah, you guys love it.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at Zoom. Zoom even liked it. Gave you a little thumbs up emoji there.
Oh, nice. Nice. I
That was
still go on.
I didn't know that was a thing. There was a stream I was doing with Laird, and I don't remember what I did. I think it was they were making fun of like a heart emoji because I can't
Mm,
do it with my hands. My
yeah.
hands don't work. But then all of a sudden the hearts all popped up. I'm like, I think, or maybe it was Laird. Maybe it was Laird got them to pop up. I don't remember. I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
programs just slip this stuff in on you. So yeah. So how's Sora going for you, my man?
So rare. Oh man, it's good. It's nice to talk to someone about it. To be honest, because obviously Simon has quit for the second time in dramatic fashion, as he always does.
I mean, if
Um,
they're gonna do it, you might as well be dramatic.
yeah. I think he just kind of got battered from pillar to post by Sorare. Like he bought in at the peak, and then just his gallery value went down. He couldn't get a win. Just DNPs all the time
And
at
then
the
when he does
most
get a
inopportune
win,
times.
and when he does get
And
a
then he got a
win,
win, and it was just a terrible reward. Like he just so rare, really, yeah, gave him the old Mike Tyson. So he's gone.
whoa.
Um,
Early Mike Tyson. That last Mike Tyson, I mean, that's what we needed so rare to treat Simon like. Did
yeah,
you watch that?
exactly. Yeah, we needed a fixed fight. Yeah, that would have been much nicer. I thought maybe
It
we start a podcast, maybe we'd start getting some fixed results in our favor, but turns out the content creator luck only really works for certain people.
it only works for the ones that have the actual like deals set up. The ones that just try to like do something in between, they're like, nah, it's okay. All
Yeah,
right.
those hobbyists of us.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you're quickly becoming like the Joe Rogan of Sorare, right? Because you're doing, long form interviews, getting to know people. You could be
I
the
don't know if I can
next.
say long form because I cut it pretty much at an hour because that's like how much time I get.
True,
That's
true. Okay, maybe not. Maybe you're the
plus.
CNN of Sorare.
Do you think all you know what actually could be, which where you were last with like if Andy and Jimmer could get in under any sort of consistency, like that show could go 3.5, 4 hours of just pure insanity.
Yeah, I mean the last Sorare After Dark was a train wreck. I
No,
haven't.
I listened to a solid like hour and 10 minutes of it during a walk, and it was fantastic.
I think I
I mean,
like
that's the
blacked
whole
out about
thing.
halfway through.
That's that's the whole thing because I do everything on 2x speed.
Ah, yes. I'm with you. I'm 1.5 speed. I can't do the
You'll
2x,
get
but a
there.
one and
You'll
a
get
half.
there. One and
That's
a half
nuts.
is like the gateway drug. It's like just like your first joint. You're like, okay, this is nice. Let's see, step it up. Let's see what this.
Yeah. Yeah, 1.5 is the little joint, and then your 2x speed, that's your straight heroin, off a spoon in an alleyway somewhere. Yeah.
And then, so I actually tried it one time on Spotify. I think I tried like
Heroin or
2.7.
2x speed?
No, never gone that far in life. But as far as I'm gonna
Good
go
time.
is seeing how quickly I can listen to somebody. And I don't believe that it works above two. I've like
No, I don't
listened.
think
I
I don't
think
think
I think
so.
it's just bullshit. I don't think it actually worked because I'm like, I can hear them just as good.
Mm.
And then I
I
just
saw
get kind
a
of worried. I just get kind of worried that maybe I'm losing it, and then I just scale it back down to two.
it's hard to take information in when it's going that quickly. But
Yeah, probably right. It's probably like skimming, it's kind of like how we got through, or at least how I got through school, skimming a lot,
yeah.
seeing if I can just get enough knowledge to get by.
Yeah, that's it. Have you ever gone back and listened to stuff on one speed?
No,
It's
I can't do it. I
ridiculous.
can't do
It's
it.
impossible.
I can't do
Sounds like
it.
they're talking through honey or something.
But I can do like this and it feels normal. And I can do a stream. Like I can obviously I was like and obviously I can talk to somebody in real life. It's like, yeah, I would hope so.
Hurry up. Come on, get on with it.
Although in real life, like when you get a slow talker and you're used to like consuming information on one and a half and two, you're just like,
Mm, yeah.
come on, come on. And then
I saw,
I'm in the sales industry where I gotta like make sure I'm like paying attention, listening, and I'm just like
yeah. I love it. But yeah, what we're talking about.
so
Sorare. Yeah.
rare, yeah.
I'm actually so I don't know about if I think you are the same because our last chat on Discord was after your conversation with Orange Fly,
Yeah,
and you were
about
talking about how you were pretty much you were bought in with under 23s, and
yep, didn't do it.
I'm much the same. I listen to a guy on a podcast tell me his strategy, and I'm like, yeah, I'm in. Let's do it,
Yes.
and I change everything.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm actually kind of enjoying like I'm a lot of the trending topics I think in the Sorare community at the moment is kind of like letting go of the past, playing the game in front of you, having fun, and I think I'm there. Like I am having fun with it. I was thinking the other day about how you and I were talking about upcoming MLS and what our
Hmm.
strategy is for that,
Can't wait for it.
and I was thinking like I don't think I'm gonna. I mean, I'll still probably go for the in season to try and win some cash, but there's like Jesus Ferreira cards out there for like $5 at
I
the
saw
moment in
somebody
red.
put that rare,
And
yeah.
I'm like, I should just go and buy as just all the MLS players and just because I like having lots of lineups. I like that kind of randomized side of it. But then the side of me that's trying to use my brain is like, no, we should be trying to, generate ROI and get in season cards. But I'm slowly starting to come around to like a little bit more fun side of things.
I I think I think the little known, and this is just like a perspective. There's not really a lot of testing or like I'm not charting stuff here, but I do think that people that play in season, their classics kind of become an afterthought,
Oh
and like
yeah.
they're not like actually trying. It's almost like limited, right? For God, I mean, I won't name names, but I do know a number of whales, and a couple of them will be like, I never have good luck in limited. I'm like, well, are you trying? They're like, yeah, I hit the complete lineup button. I have good cards, and it's like, well, that's not nearly as hard you try in like unique and super rare, and you're expecting the
Yeah.
same results when you have more competition too, right?
Mm.
Um, so I think that that's kind of funny, but I do think that that's kind of where classic's getting too, is that people just go, okay, I have so many cards, I'm not gonna plan out ahead of time. I'm not, I have this great lineup. I've got Messi, I've got Lucho, I've got Ricky Pooch. Oh, I've got this random defender. He should be fine. Instead of going, well, I probably should have like a Kai in there or go somewhere else and look for it. But I think a lot of
Mm.
people are just kind of lazy and just don't want to add classic.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, Yeah, I think you touched on it in one of your episodes recently about how when you've got these really good in-season players, the expectation is so great that kind of becomes less fun if you're not winning.
Hmm.
And I'm definitely, obviously I've had a few wins with my in-season cards, so I'm kind of good on that front. But it does take that fun out of and a lot of people talk about missing All Star Rare Pro and All Star because you could chuck a Cecina in, you could chuck in these random guys from the Dutch leagues. I do miss that a lot, and I think I'm going to try and start going into that side of things. And I think classic card prices being where they are, it really can just become like a fun. It is limited, like you
Yeah.
said, it's limiteds now. They're limiteds.
Yeah,
You can just
but where
throw
you can
$500 at
still
it and have a bit of fun.
yeah, you can win, a rare, let's say in Challenger, you could win a rare Veerman, or you could win,
Yeah,
a rare Piscagli, like which could like be legit card that you could buy tons off of them too. So I don't think classic prices versus like what you can win actually are are correct. I think that
no,
it's gotten shit on so badly by everybody that there's probably an opportunity there. But then you just have to like weigh that with, okay, well, where is my attention at? Because like so
mm,
after the Bob episode, I was all set to do U23. And hold on, I gotta remember the guy's name. I'm so bad at this. I don't even know the guy's name. And we all know everybody that I'm gonna butcher the crap out of how I ever say his name. But his name was is not he's alive. Let's really hope that
rest in
he's still
peace.
alive. Because I bought two of him. uh oh my God. Why does his name have to suck? Sin Lamens?
Oh yeah,
Sennne. So
I know
he's
that name.
the Antwerp goalkeeper
Hmm.
and he's U23, so that's how I stumbled onto him. I'm like, oh, okay, that's not bad. Oh, they've got some good fixtures. And then this is just the most sober thing ever. So I won anti-stacks super rare,
Nice, well done,
one Virgil van Dyke super rare. Good
amazing.
card. Can't use it.
Useless card, yeah. I was gonna say, can't sell it, can't use it.
And
Looks nice.
I will name this whale. PSU fans, my good friend Sean, he's like that unsuspecting predator that comes up. And if you just mention for a minute that you've got a card that's good that he could use and that might not be good for you, he will make sure that you understand, Keith, that you cannot use that card.
Yeah, oh
But you know
yeah,
who
yeah.
can use him? Sean.
I'll
It's
take him
like,
off
all
your
right.
hands. I'll do you a favor and take that useless card off your hands. It's classic pump.
You've
It's
been
the opposite
there.
of pump and dump. Yeah.
You've been there with him or with another. Was that with
No, I
Sean?
haven't been there personally with him. I don't think I've traded with him. But I know the tactic. I know
You
the
nailed
tactic
it.
because I get offers like that all the time where people will send me an offer for my card and then contact me on Discord and proceed to tell me just how shit that card
Oh,
is,
that
how
I,
he's
I actually
probably going to get
miss
dropped, and the coach hates him, and you should just sell him to me for cheap because why would you
kind
want
of
that
miss.
card?
You know how we know silver is not fully back? That's not happening to the extent it used to.
Or it might be back. I almost got scammed the other day. I
Oh,
almost got is that different? Is that
I think
different?
that's different.
Okay,
I
that's
think
different. Well,
I think
it
scamming is the
was the
oldest game in the book. I think that's the oldest game
true.
in the book. But like, the whole telling you how much your guy sucks that they want. I think
Yeah.
that's
Oh
like a
yeah.
sign of like we're back.
Yeah. I
Because that
think
means that if they're finding it hard to get that card,
yeah, true, true.
you know?
Yeah. I do believe I don't think we're going to get back to what we were obviously, but I
No,
do feel
no,
like
it's
there's a
not.
couple of bumps ahead,
Yeah,
there's a few purple patches in our future, but
yeah,
I you another strategy of yours that I've recently kind of started picking up again. Back in the day, you and Laird would sit down and you would go through the pick scores and you'd
yeah.
build a limited lineup. I've been
Always.
doing that with rares.
Yep,
Like
same.
this weekend, I'm like, right, I've got a pretty good in season team. I need a classic to fill this out. Who's got the
That's
best
the best
fixture?
thing. That's
And I've just been like,
that's
it's like $25. I'm like, sweet, entry fee, let's go.
that's actually like I think the single easiest cheat on this entire platform
Amen.
right now. And the secret thing too is if the guy's good enough, like don't get the complete shit turd. that,
Yeah.
and I would do that for the longest time. Could like back to Sean, what did he call it? Uh he would call it like fancy play syndrome, which I definitely have. I
Yeah.
mean, he's not wrong. I definitely
Yeah.
enjoy the fancy play syndrome. But if you can get like a moderate guy in a smash matchup and he drops like a huge score, there's a really good chance that if you don't like play him in the next midweek, like you could get off that card pretty easily too. Like
Yeah. Totally.
or
Yeah.
really, really close. So anyhow, so that Virgil, it ended up being a good deal. Like he's like, I have to trade this Biscagli Classic. I'm like, well, you're not really twisting my arm too badly on that. Sure, we can put that in. And then it was like Flamingo, who's the other center back for PSV in season. And then he's like, I'm like, okay, like we can talk here. And I'm like, I named like a number of other cards in season challenger that he had. He's like, no, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Virgil is talking here, okay?
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about those cards. And to his credit, like we ended up putting at a deal pretty close to like where the valuations just kind of lined up. So that was like a gateway drug into all right, I got a good amount of challenger. And so after I talked with Bob, was definitely in like the buying mode. I think I bought, let's see how many. I bought two San Lemons, which again, I figured him out because I was starting to scout U23. But then I get Biscagli and Flamingo, and I got Anthony Morris in season and somebody else. I'm like, all right, I got a build in season now. I got good goalkeepers, all this stuff. So bought two of him. I bought this was the one that Lair didn't mention on stream, the 36-year-old that's the second best pick score. But it's this to John Cherry, who by the way, I thought he might be U23. And then Lair's like,
Dijon Cherry
yeah, yeah, you should look at his photo.
sounds like a
Lair
stripper.
he does. He doesn't look old either. And then there's like, isn't he like 36? And I'm like, I thought he was like 23. And I'm like, oh, 36? What do you know? I'm not very
There
good at
goes
this
my under
game.
23 strategy. Damn it.
I knew he wasn't under 23, but I thought he was younger. And
I've got
literally
to
it's
stop
like,
going by how they look. Got to go by the actual age.
well, I don't, in season, I don't really care. Like I was looking at Remco Pasveer,
Oh God.
who I
Oh
have a
man.
really, really complicated history with, actually.
I think everyone does, right? He kind of is one of the he sums up like the trials and tribulations of Sorare, right? It's like you're buying this old goalkeeper and you're like, I know he's old, but he plays on the best team, and then he gets injured, and then he just goes into the wilderness, and then he comes back
Hold
and
on.
he's the goalkeeper. Like it's just
You
love
miss
it.
okay, you actually undersold the Remco Pasveer journey. So I got him because I'm an old fart on this game. Just a little pre Gary V here. So he
Oh
was
yeah.
at Vitesse
Yeah.
and he was old as hell. So remember the only goalkeepers in like old Sorare time that you could afford were if they were
We're old
old,
guys.
old on shit teams.
Yeah.
So I have him, and again, I'm just what's a good way to describe this? I'm easily preyed upon by bigger players at this time because he's like I think he was the
You're
second
vulnerable.
goalkeeper. There we go. I was a wounded animal. And I don't remember what I paid. Had it for a couple of times, and then I'm gonna assume that he started getting the Ajax rumors. And all of a sudden
Okay.
I get an offer. I get an offer. And he's injured at the time. Or like he missed a game and I'm not really looking. And it's more than I paid.
Shit.
Except,
Snap accept.
except, all right, that
Yep.
was easy business. Turns up at Ajax. Surely he won't start. Surely, surely. What he's just there to be a
Yeah.
mentor
Yeah.
for the young kids, right?
Yeah.
And then he
Wise old man at the
starts,
back.
starts.
Yeah.
So then it gets worse. He starts for Netherlands as like a 40-year-old.
I
Remember
remember
this?
that. I remember that very
And
well.
now I'm complete FOMO.
Oh
I
no.
I gotta I gotta get back. I think I paid point 0.9 ETH. I
Oh
gotta
man.
I mean, how can this go wrong? He's on the best team. He's got
Yep.
international utility.
And then they just went, oh, all the
Oh,
Netherlands national team, Ajax, they all went, oh wait, he's really old. What are we
really
doing?
old. So then you do what we all did back when the cards were way too expensive, right? Panic. Complete
Yep,
like right when your gets dropped, your world ends.
I
You
need him.
stop everything.
Mm.
I remember this vividly. I don't remember whose birthday party it was at in my family's, but I ended up in the bathroom and I'm like trying to trade with every trader. It's
We've
like
all
30
been there.
minutes,
We've all been in
30
a
minutes,
bathroom at
30
some
minutes.
point.
They're all probably like, we can't even use this bathroom. Keith's just destroying it. And I'm like, I'm, come on, Brimco, you gotta get the out of here. Get out. Come on.
Oh man.
Traders, no bots yet either. Traders, where are you? It's 2 o'clock on a Saturday. Come on. Where are you at?
Oh man. I mean, the number of like dinner parties and stuff I've been at where I've just been a shell of myself because I've there's a trade going on, and every time I excuse myself to the bathroom, you know, according to my dinner party guests, I'm shitting every half an hour, and I'm just coming back. I'm not engaging with anyone because I'm like, I know what's at stake. There's like $3,500 in a trade that I'm waiting for someone to accept.
Project. So
I
when
miss
you
those
think of
days.
I actually miss them too, and I don't. All like it's all this complex emotion wrapped up,
Yeah.
and I'm like, God, that was exhilarating, and
Mm,
that was also, oh my God, that was so bad. Like, can you remember,
yeah.
like, if you were watching? I still remember. I think it was Andy Black was watching the game at the same time as me, and it was, I think it was New York and Philadelphia, and Andre Blake, which every injury story. I mean, any Andre Blake story is typically an injury story. And he tries to, this is the most MLS story too. He goes to save a free kick, like really at the top, and he misjudges it and goes right into the post. Misses the ball, does not miss the post, and he's just down. And you remember these days, what happens to the backup goalkeeper on all the ones on the market?
Oh, mate, the
They're
middle
gone,
finger.
gone, gone,
Yeah,
gone, 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 gone. And at that time, it was so funny too. It was the Matthew Freeze, but he was listed as Freeze Matthew.
that's right. Yeah, yep, yep. I
That was
remember
a really
him.
cool
Yeah,
card too, because your guy's name is Freeze for his first
yeah,
name. Yeah.
yeah.
And then then Audrey Blake comes out and starts the second half.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the second bathroom break? If you bought Freeze on the first bathroom break, then all of a sudden you realize he's not in. You're
Yeah,
like,
back to the bathroom.
diarrhea, guys, diarrhea.
Oh man, I mean, the I think my learning from that whole period is I think we all thought, I don't know if you're the same, but I think because I mean, you got in before the Gary V boom, so you're even more of a genius. But I felt like I was a genius getting onto this trend, NFTs. Everyone was asking me about it because, NFTs were starting to become part of the,
Right.
public vernacular. And I'm like, like we all remember, you win a reward and you're like, yeah, that's worth $800, and that's a tier 3 or a tier 4, God forbid you win a star or a tier 1. And then the writing was so on the wall, and like obviously M Pen with his articles and stuff, and we're just like, nah, there's no way this is going to go down. I remember distinctly listening to Sean, PSU fans, in a podcast. Someone asked him if he was going to like withdraw, and he was like, why would I withdraw? These are compounding. Every card I win is
Wasn't wrong.
compounding my gallery value, and I'm gonna be a trillionaire by Christmas. And I was like, yeah, yeah, we're geniuses. It's compounding interest, baby. The writing was so on the wall that of course they're gonna release more of these cards every year. There's no way supply is gonna keep up. And I just look back and I'm like, why didn't I just like I guess I realized that economics is not my thing.
Yeah.
And
Well,
now I know I've got to play the game not thinking that I can outsmart the market. Just have a bit of fun. Don't try and because I'm
yeah.
clearly too dumb
I
to
think it
to
was I think it was Haber this week that mentioned it with Laird, which was a really good episode on server data.
Mm.
And it got mentioned so many times and we all just disagree. They're like, how is everybody making money? Is it how much do you have to suck to lose money at this game?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how I got like multiple
Losers.
friends into the game. I was like, literally, like Simon. My origin story with him is I think some people probably heard this already, but I bought my first five cards and I got an Augustin Marchesson rare
Yes,
card, who
yes,
was
yeah,
at that
yeah.
time the Porto goalkeeper, worth like $2,000. And I was like, Simon, come on, you buy five cards and you'll get a card. At least you'll basically repay what you've invested straight away. And that was when it all just started going downhill for him. And I did that with other friends as well. I was like, you can't really lose at this game. It's pretty, the stakes are high, but all you got to do is play the game and you're a winner.
So do any of these friends refer to you as the guy that like got them involved in like some sort of scheme? Like if any of my friends would ever tell me, dude, this is free money, don't worry about it, and it went to hell, I'd be like, screw you.
Yeah. I remember my brother and one of my other friends, they met for the first time at my wedding a few years ago. And I came up to them, they were chatting, and I was like, oh, what are you guys talking about? And they were talking about how much Sorare sucks.
At your wedding.
Because they'd both put a bunch of money in at the top and it was just going down and they couldn't win. It was starting to get it was that combination of prices going down and competition going up. And it was just, you know,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh man, I'm so sorry. I did this to you guys.
I, I do think it's an interesting time that if you now I'm gonna piss people off, it's whatever. If you put in like 100, like way more than you
100
should
grand.
have, which I know people that have done that. This does not apply to you. Like that's a rough time. I mean, you can probably get out of it. Time
Mm,
heals a lot of things, but that's tough. But if you put in a smaller amount, like let's say that you put in, let's just say $1,000 and you still have those cards, there's a realistic route to yielding that back right now. Like
yeah,
just
absolutely.
going down that route, and if you are being tactical with it, even taking those cards and going, hey, I got $1,000 for cards. They're worth $100 right now, but you take that $100 and do it right. I thought Haber said it well. Like right now, especially with end season, you can actually make back, 10 times the lineup in 1 week. So
Yeah.
that's where I think I was telling you Laird this too. If I personally have a D1 team in any sort of in season division and I have enough good players, I'm doing everything possible to maximize that team.
Yeah,
So I'm
absolutely.
going to pick scores. I'm getting all of them. This week, I think I screwed one thing up. I might have to get another forward after this. But I mean, if you were to look at like my gallery this week again, I bought this cherry guy. I had two Sin Lemons. I have Igor. I also can't say any of my team guys' names. I have the Fire Nord Ego Paxio,
Oh, yeah.
In Bomb from Feyenoord. I have Sutalo from Ajax. I bought I went a little spree. I didn't go on the U23 spree I thought I was going to, but I was just like, I like Challenger and I love MLS.
Yeah.
And if I can do really well in Challenger in season, then all of a sudden February comes and MLS cards start getting up there. Now I can start mixing in MLS.
Mm.
So I think that's kind of my little grand vision right now for where I'm trying to go with it. Have you
Yeah.
have you
I
gone as
think,
far to have a grand vision, or are
oh
you
man, my
treading
grand
water?
vision, I get misled by every week when a new podcast comes out. I'm like, oh, changing everything. So
They're all so
yeah, I don't
convincing
know.
too. They're all so every single
Yeah,
person
there's
is so
such it's such
convincing.
conviction. I'm a sucker. I'm such
Well,
a sheep. I just follow. I'm like, yeah, totally. You
I
absolutely make sense. Let's do it.
I still feel bad about the Bettis stuff. Like, I don't feel bad that I did it. It's just that like people completely misunderstood what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're this type. I'm kind of like I like a little mini challenge.
Yeah. I think what you did was perfectly fine. I mean, you didn't have to share that strategy with anyone, and
Well, no, but
you
then
were
everybody tails it. And then I'm
yeah. Well,
like,
that's
and
it.
then I'm
Yeah.
like, you guys don't realize I'm about to jump ship in like a week.
Yeah, you're like heading across on the Oregon Trail, back in the day, and they're like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, Oregon sounds sweet." And then there's just, the second a tribe of Indian comes and just starts shooting everyone with arrows, it's like,
Well,
it's not
no,
your fault.
but
I
the
was just
worst
going to go to Oregon. You guys trail behind me.
but the worst part in that situation, I I just stayed at the beginning. I'm like, it's a really good idea. The trail's that way. You should see what they
I'll
have at
see
the
you guys
end of
there.
that
Yeah,
rainbow.
totally.
Are you gonna come? Oh no, no, no. I'm more of a planner.
Hey, let that be a lesson to people. But I think going back to what you're saying about like those people who put that money in, I think with all things, time in the market is better
Yep,
than timing the market. And I think it was Haber who said like Sorare is not going away. Like there's, they're a big
yep,
enough company that it's got some legs. It's gonna still be around, and as long as they have the backing to put up those cash prizes, that 100,000 might be 8,000 right now, but over the course of the next 3 or 4 years, and who knows, there could be another. I mean, I think part of the reason cards are so cheap right now is because everyone's jumping out and going and buying crypto, which
yeah,
is fair enough. Probably a better investment for your money. But I think if that crypto boom kind of takes off, if NFTs in any way get a bit more of, NFTs right now, everyone just thinks they're a scam. That
yeah.
was done and dusted. We move on from the NFTs. I still believe that NFTs will come back in a big way at some point. And when that happens, I'm not saying we're going to go back to the prices we had because the supply will just be
Yep.
wild, but the interest in Sorare, I think, will peak.
I hope so.
It's
I
it's not
mean,
just the NFTs coming back. These are NFTs with utility. It's a bit more. I think Sorare is one of the best use cases for NFTs that I saw during that big run. Which is why I think a lot of us dove in the way we did.
well, it allows you to, play football. Like I'm not a crypto NFT person at
Crypto
all. Like
bro.
that was, are you into crypto, bro? Are you?
Crypto bro.
I don't know. I don't know. But that was more of a deterrent for me getting in than
Okay.
anything. Like I was DFS soccer person, and I was like, all right, oh, these crypto people think they know football. I mean, let me show them, right?
Well, that was always my. You talking about grand plan? And I've faulted on this plan, and I'm weak. But my grand plan was, Sorare's opening this up to the masses. The people who don't like crypto can come in and play without having to be anywhere near crypto. But I do believe that the big money comes in when the crypto guys come in to play.
Probably because
You
they
know,
have a lot of it.
yeah, when the NFTs are flying, I think those big galleries will come back, and people will start looking at it something like a Pranksy as a yielding mechanism. And my strategy was like, I'm going to buy some good super rares and just wait until
Yeah,
demand somewhat catches up to supply.
I don't know.
Again, I've failed, and I don't. It's looking less and less like that's ever
Yeah.
going to happen.
I think the better move and like where I'm at with this like bull run of crypto and going, okay, I don't know about what's gonna make ETH go up, but I see it going up and I want some of it. And the cool part is I can take cash, put it within football knowledge, and then turn that into ETH.
That's
And
right.
then
Yeah.
I send all of my offers out in cash, get all my cards in cash. My prizes are in ETH. If you want to buy my cards, you have to pay me ETH. And then I'm just stockpiling that. Because it's
Yeah.
kind of cool. Like, were you, did it take you forever? Like you always valued your cards in ETH, right? Because you've been on for a decent amount of time, or did you value them in cash?
Yeah, I've the what my gallery is worth has kind of lost so much meaning for me
Yeah, it
because
doesn't. But that
when I got in, I
doesn't mean
put
that when you're doing a deal,
when I'm
when
doing
you're
a deal,
looking
yeah,
at,
or yeah, it was ETH. I
yep,
think if I look
same.
at it in dollars, I get depressed, so I keep it in ETH. Yeah.
So I went full, I made myself convert my mindset like a year ago into all
Okay.
dollars. So I do everything in fiat. But the trick is that most people think that way. But if you go, it's close enough, but they're paying you ETH, and you're like, I think that's gonna go up a little bit. Then you just start getting it, and you're okay taking like 10%. We're buddies. I'll give you a deal. You send it to me in ETH. I'll take
Totally.
10% off.
Yeah. And you know that ETH's probably going to be worth 30% more the next week. Yeah.
I don't know. I just know I'm willing to take that chance because what I know for sure though is that dollar is going to be worth the same.
Yeah. Well, even less. I think this,
Well,
not
yes,
to be
correct.
not to go all
But
crypto bro, but like the US dollar in particular, it's losing value all the
oh, for
time.
sure, for
So,
sure.
take those
But
dollars and put them in a higher growing, we're going
hey,
full crypto bro. I
hey.
haven't even had a bag of cocaine yet.
But purely without even like doing any sort of speculations on the website, if I've got $5,000 in cash,
Yeah.
no matter what the markets do, the next day, Sorare is going to tell me you have $5,000 in cash.
Yes.
It's not
Maybe.
USDC. It's not anything like that. It's literally a cash wallet. So, but my one ETH could be 3,000 the one day, but then it could be 4K the next. And like that's where you go, okay, if you want to take a little bit of risk in this process, yielding it out into ETH. And that's why I kind of went a little bit hard and I'm going to keep going hard in season. It's because I'm like,
Mm,
this is a way I can get ETH and I can flip a lot of this cash this way with some knowledge. I think I can beat the game in terms of a yielding mechanism. So
yeah.
that's kind of my plan. We'll see how it goes, but
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
excited for it.
yeah. I think the danger obviously there is that ETH could also just go down to $200 and then you're
Yeah,
screwed.
and I'm
But
okay with it.
I, yeah,
I'm cool
but
with
I
it.
think it's we're at that point where if you are winning some cash, we're all obviously degens here. Why not chuck it into something that could potentially, go to the moon over the next
Yeah,
year or so?
but yeah, so that's my little trick right now is I'm not spending the ETH. The ETH balance is just hopefully growing, and we'll just see where it goes.
Did you see a fun little crypto story for anyone
Oh
out there?
boy.
So we know we're getting to the start of the bull market when this stuff kind of happens. I saw a video, a 14-year-old boy was on
Yes, I
some
saw this.
and he made his own crypto coin. People started buying it. He then pump and dumped. So he like
Yeah.
sold all his coins for I think
30K,
it
I
was
think
like
he
20,
won.
yeah, 30K, like
Yeah.
which is I mean, that's crazy for a 14-year-old. And then he was like, ha, suck it, guys. I've pumped and dumped you, I've rugged you. And then, of course, don't fuck with Reddit. Sorry, can I swear?
Yes,
Don't
it's
mess
fine.
with Reddit. Don't mess with Reddit. They just were like,
400.
right, we're going all in on this coin. It's now worth like $4 million.
I think I saw the amount that he could have gotten from that was like 452,000.
Yeah, yeah. But
I'm
that's the market we're heading into, guys.
I mean I mean
It's gonna
this
be the
is
Wild West.
I was gonna say when you were talking about um NFTs and JPEG and like people have distrust. You know why people have distrust is it's speaking from somebody that's not a crypto bro at all. Because how much was that rock? Was that like a couple?
Yeah, 100,000 ETH or
And
something.
I
Yeah,
still remember, God, I still remember seeing, like peak COVID. I think it was like Gary Vee, was at his peak popularity. Like,
yep.
listen to Gary Vee. This man knows the way to future. And he's like, I remember he was like drawing these
Oh yeah,
characters
terrible.
on, and I thought it was a bit. I thought it was a bit. And I was like,
I think it was a bit. I think he's was making a point that like my shitty drawing is art
but
and
then he
why
was
it's
pumping the
valuable.
crap out of it. Then he pumped the
Oh,
crap out of it.
totally. Yeah.
And it was
He's a hustler.
But it was literally like on like this is a um notepad for home insurance. And you put it there, draw an elephant, then
Yeah.
go put it on. Expect a minimum of $40,000 for this.
Yep.
$400,000 later. Well, that escalated quickly. I
Yeah, good times. Good
so I
times.
think that's why there's distrust in the NFT world, and for good reason.
Oh, absolutely.
Do
Totally.
you
Yeah, it's
think
one of those things where you can get your face ripped off very easily.
So I was thinking about this today. Do you think that Sorare ever tries to decouple from Ethereum? Or
Ooh,
or can they not? Because then that just again, you know more about crypto than me, but I feel like they've tried to distance themselves from that. But now it's a bull run. So do they go
yeah.
more into it? And do we see them talking about ETH more? Or do they keep trying to kind of decouple themselves.
I think the blockchain side of it means that they have to have ETH or they could maybe move to a different chain like Solana or something.
Okay,
But I don't think they can get rid of that because that's the core of their game is this
right.
blockchain. They've made it accessible to everyone now, which I think is great. I think I was thinking about this the other day when that Harlan sold for like what was it, five
The
hundred
the
thousand
single
dollars.
best day of Sorare, that live stream was like peak Sorare.
But Sorare didn't really talk about it.
No, no,
And I
they were
think that's
smart.
because I think they were already in that process of like, we need to distance ourselves from NFTs, crypto. We need to really focus on the mainstream because, they've got investors. They want to try and have a million users. So I don't think they'll get rid of the ETH. I think that would fundamentally change the game. And I think a lot of people would probably, the idea that even though it's not you don't really have custody of your own NFTs in the way you would with normal crypto. I
Right.
think that whole own your game thing, it would be hard
That's
to
where they're
get
gonna
rid of.
stick to it. They're gonna be like, hey, I know we kind of said own your game, you can play these cars forever, and they'll be good.
But they're
We
ours
just
now. Yeah.
we just meant that you do own them.
Yeah.
We actually just meant it literally, guys. You
I remember they
you
did
took it a
that.
little bit too far.
Do you remember they made that announcement where they're like, you can now take custody of your own cards. You can
Yes.
transfer and
Yeah.
was like absolutely pointless. Completely. And there was so rare cards
Golden
on
auctions.
C.
Golden auctions.
Yeah.
It was like a
Oh,
Kevin De Bruyne. I think they did like a unique or something like that of him.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Good
a,
times.
you know, they've had some good missteps. Game Jam comes to mind.
Oh yeah, game jam.
You,
Now, speaking of missteps, you don't play Sorare NBA anymore, do you?
I
You're out.
don't, I don't. I just,
So Sorare NBA works perfectly for me because
I
deadline is
heard, I heard that.
yeah, like 9 in the
Sounds
morning. I
awesome.
wake up, I check the news. And it's kind of that. It's the ultimate version of the pick score game where you go out and buy the card you need because you've got that cap
Yep.
restriction and there's projections. It's like I've actually been really loving Sorare NBA.
It,
It's hard. It's super hard to win, and like you need 50 essence just to craft it like tier 5 plus in the essence thing. That sucks.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
But I'm really enjoying it. I think
I
it's a great
know,
game.
I know a number of people that play it and just adore it.
But I
Um,
totally understand why for you it just doesn't work at all because it's
nah,
like
it's
sorry again. We go back to the days of running to the toilet. It's like I got
well,
to spend some time with my family.
my wife's a saint too. Because I got into daily fantasy pretty hard because of NBA. I was a huge NBA fan.
Mm,
And before like a lot of the projection systems and stuff were good, if you would just grind news, you could do well. Um,
yeah,
but it also meant from 6 to 7 and then throughout the night. It was like because where the edges were to be had in daily fantasy, I'm assuming it's still that way. I haven't played daily fantasy NBA for a year and a half, and my life is so much better because of it. But the edges would be, you got a over here 7:30 tip, and
mm,
those lineups would drop at like 7:28, and
yep,
you would go, "There's no LeBron," or "There's no, you
yeah.
know."
Austin Reeves is cooking. Yeah.
But because all of a sudden you go, depending on the team, and I'm so far removed now. But let's just say I'll just use like God, trying to think of a team that just has two guys. But it's just like pretend like it's back like with the Lakers, like Shaq and Kobe. And all of a sudden Shaq's out, you go, the one guy bumps up, but then somebody else has to fill that gap there.
Mm,
And if you could do that and he was super underpriced, now you go load up other studs too. Same deal is kind of there, but, still a salary cap game, but that was all
mm,
the edge. And my understanding is it still is for sort of NBA is, you know, you probably are cooking with gas if all of a sudden that news comes out about 10 minutes before and you
yeah.
can get on it before somebody else. Like that's where the edges are to be had. And I kind of love football, the fact that that does not exist really.
Yeah. It's a very stressful hour and a half before everything
Mhm.
locks. And then it's kind of, I mean, I'm enjoying the game, but like it's not as fun from a fantasy perspective because I would kind of just turn it
Set it
off and
and
then check
forget.
it. I
Set it
just
and
check at
forget.
the end and go, oh, fantastic, But I am enjoying that. I keep telling myself I need to just go and buy every player with a cap under 10 and
Well,
just
you
wait
know what? A
until they
couple
have
of
their
the
moment in the
really
sun.
Bob, and a few others that are, very good at the game. I mean, they swear by the collections, and it makes complete sense because at some point in the NBA, all of these guys sit out a week or
Yeah,
two or get injured. And so even that scrub, as long as he is consistently on the active roster, there's going to come the week that,
yeah. It
he's
just
at a
pops off.
6
Yeah.
and, you have him projected for 25
Yeah,
and
I
he,
just can't help myself. I always play that guy. I can never bring myself to
uh,
sell into the hype, and then I play him, and then of course
but if you
scrape a
buy him and
box.
he boosted your players up and then you can use them. I mean, NBA collections are what like we dream, like what Andrew Laird dreams that football collections are, because like nothing would bring that man more joy than if every player in his Midland collection eventually became a starter. He would just like he would not know what to do with himself. Like if they were all starting across the globe, and he could make 5 lineups of just his Midland cards, even if they never won, he would be the happiest person. And he's gonna watch this, and I guarantee you, as he's doing his walk, he's nodding. He's like, "Yeah, I would." It would just be like peak enjoyment. But I think for most of us, it would be because you're just like, I'm getting Dexter XP. I bought these for dirt cheap, and now I'm getting utility out of them. Like, but that's what NBA can do, which I think is a really cool aspect of it. I really do. I mean,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
they
It's a
if I could just move to Australia and be in the morning, I would 1,000,000% be down.
it's perfect. I mean, the on the flip side, the football side of things is becoming harder and harder for me because you've got to wait till the deadline for all the news, and that's midnight here.
Yeah, that's
And
bad.
that used to be no problem for me, but now I have a 4 month old, so I'm ready for bed at 8 p.m. So staying up waiting for news is getting difficult.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the answer to that becomes you just play the leagues that don't really get news that impact you too. That is one cool thing though too about
True.
all these changes I've thought about as well, is that if you just don't remember when we did have everybody's always just talking about, including myself, how much it stinks that we don't have like All-Star Rare Plus and All-Star, just
Mm.
isn't the same All-Star. But there was once a time that you needed to know what is happening in every single league in the world to really compete properly in All-Star.
Oh yeah. Oh,
You
it
know,
was it it was
like remember if you didn't have Romelu for a while in China, you were just like, why am I even trying?
I
Like
think
why
I was
why am I
pretty
playing?
fluent in Korean by the end of like some of those seasons there, just from translating. And
But seriously,
there's never any football related news. It's always just there's someone with that exact same name in Korea who loves to post on the internet, and it's just all of his shit.
I'm trying to think of who that one was recently. Like, no, I don't care about you. I care about the player. I think I was trying to look up news for Toby Alderweireld,
Oh
and I'm
yeah.
just like, well, Toby's gonna bring up too much. And then his last name seems to pull up a lot too. And this Toby, whoever his guy with his name on Twitter posts way too much. I just want to know why the hell you sat out 2 weeks ago, and are you gonna play this weekend? That's all I'm concerned about.
I love the like when you like Liga MX and it's in Spanish and you translate it and the translation is like his legs are pistols and you're like, what is that? Is that good? Is pistol good?
Oh, like pistol, like
Pistol's
they're
good?
firing, they're firing. No, dude, Liga MX too. Because they used to have daily fantasy Liga MX. They don't really do it anymore. But some of those lineups, I don't know how they got away with it. They would drop like 10 minutes before kickoff. It's like, oh, you guys really just don't have rules down there.
It's the Wild
But
West down there.
and
Yeah.
then the worst part is you would like be like waiting for like SofaScore to update, and then instead of just dropping a lineup on Twitter with the names, they're like, no, no, we're gonna do a video. You're like, no. And the video is not gonna have the names, and it's just them all coming out looking like badass. And they're like, who are you? Can I see a number? Like, can you put your arm back up? I just want to see if that's
Yeah.
a 21 or 27. I couldn't make out what that number was. I think it was T Grace. Hopefully somebody will post it. I think it was T Grace. Always posted these videos, and I'm like, no, 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 I can't disseminate from the little sofa score picture if that's you or not. I think it
Yeah.
is, but your picture is like 5 years older there.
I always got by the alphabetical team list used to just send me into an absolute panic.
Oh,
'Cause
because you were looking for like where the central midfielder should be, and
well,
instead,
it's usually your goalkeeper is number
right,
one, right? They're
right, he's
first
not
on the
there.
team sheet, but then it's some other dude, and you just have this panic attack of like, my keeper is out. What the heck? Because
You know who always did that, and I think they still do? NYCFC.
yeah,
Always
they're bad
did.
for it.
They did the alphabetical, and you were looking for Sean Johnson at the top, and he was buried in the middle there. And then when you actually finally the one time he isn't there, you're like, Baraza, why are you there?
I mean,
So
that's one benefit of the stakes being so much lower is the
I
stakes
can
are so
take
much lower.
kind of what we were talking about earlier with the bathroom breaks, but it just it I think it's in a good place. I'm not gonna go as far as you to say I feel good for 4 years. Maybe that's just my style that I think if I was to give like any sort of not financial advice, but like if I was to do anything in my gallery, just see all these things as short term, which I need to figure out some of my old cards. But if you can just see them
Yeah,
all in a short term run and just see the next couple matchups, I think you can do really well at this game. I really do.
yeah, I think
I'll
so.
tell. Let's revisit this on Tuesday if I'm just furious that all of my buys over this break all blow up.
Yeah, the
But
international break is good for building up just
hope.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm
you
not. I wouldn't
froze.
say
You
that I'm
froze.
like,
You
okay,
said
long
you
term
froze
gonna.
at building up, and then it was frozen. I'm like, oh, no, I'm don't know what he said. Well, what were you
Hope.
saying? Hope.
I was saying
Oh,
hope. Yeah,
okay,
you were
that's what I
right.
said too. I was
You
like,
nailed
when
it.
you. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it'll be good.
We're
All
connected.
right. It's almost my bedtime. And do you have work? What do you do from here?
Damn, son.
What time is it? What time is it over there?
It's 1 o'clock here. It's one
Okay.
o'clock, so in the afternoon. So my job is quite flexible, so I can kind of work as I just pencil in podcast time for whenever I need to.
Well, we'll have to
Got
do
to
it
get my
again
priorities
because
right.
I was gonna bring up like injecting tiles, and we could spend like a 30 minutes on that, and we didn't
I'm
get
still
there.
figuring out. I think I'm gonna go next time. I'm just gonna go with flooring. I'm in flooring. Don't ask me
So
any questions about it. I'm in flooring.
so the bit here, a lot of the guys that are professional at daily fantasy sports. Oh my God, I'm gonna blank it. I just had it. Um, they'll say like data analytics,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
like
Instead of degenerate gambler. Yeah. I mean, data
no,
analytics.
I think it was predictive analytics. I think some of them went
Yeah.
by.
I'm in predictive analytics. I'm about to lose my house.
You're like, oh yeah, for what? Like markets and stuff. They're like, yeah,
Yep.
like
Danish midfielders.
exactly. Hey man, this was fun. Thanks so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having
Yep,
me.
we'll do it
Have
again.
it.
See you, man.